Okay, we'll be recording this session. Please take note, we only will be going through paper 1 for today because we don't have much time. And the other issue is that your exam papers, I haven't got a chance to see them yet. Because before I got to see them, it was home-based learning kicked in already. Okay, so for now, our focus is to understand the questions. You try and recall what you've done. So here I have the comments that is given by the marker, and we have the solution highlighted in yellow. Okay, so let's start with the first question. We are supposed to write down the irrational number. Irrational numbers will be numbers that cannot be expressed in a fraction in the form a over b, where a and b are integers. Okay, and b is not equal to 0. Okay, so if you can write it this way, it is a rational number already. Now, the other thing that we have covered is that numbers with dots on top, they are recurring numbers. As long as you see dots on top, then they are already rational numbers. So in this case, the irrational numbers will be pi, because you cannot express it as a fraction, and square root 10. So these are the two irrational numbers. You will almost always see it during every paper. So make sure you learn it well. Then arranging in descending order, it was well done for the cohort. Evaluate, correct the 3DP, generally all right. The common issue is that students left it at 0.04 when they didn't get it correct. Okay, next, and 0.04 is just 2DP. Okay, so 3A, it was well done. I will not cover that. The HCF, also not an issue. Smallest positive integer, not an issue. So these are common questions that often are tested on. So if you remember, before the paper, I uploaded sort of a revision notes for your class. Quite a number of these actually came out. Okay, so next one, question 4. Here we have the conversion. Okay, generally you don't have problems finding the LCM, but conversion from 8820 seconds to minutes, that's where the problem started. Okay, so conversion, you can simply use your calculator. Use your calculator, press, okay, if you have your calculator with you, press 0 for hours, 0 hours. Then remember that little that button on your calculator that shows a circle and like a inverted comma and then double inverted comma. Press that button, and this is what you will see on your display of your calculator. You will see a 0 with that symbol on top for 0 hours, and press again 0 for 0 minutes, and now you press 8820. Press that same button again. In your display, it shows 8820 seconds. Now you press the equal sign, and it will change to show you 2 hours and 27 minutes. So after you press the equal sign, this is what you will see. 2 hours and 27 minutes, 0 seconds. Okay, now with this, we are going to add this time to 10 a.m. So you can literally from here press the plus, and now we are going to add 10 a.m. So you press 10, press the same button again. So this is what you will see, 0 minutes, 0 seconds. You press the equal sign again, and your calculator will now return you 12 hours, 27 minutes, 0 seconds. Okay, so based on this, just write it down as 1227. Make full use of your calculator to help you. Next question that I want to go through, although it is generally okay, traditionally, there are quite a number of careless mistakes that could be made. So where is the careless mistake? It is the expansion of this square. So the first step, we will get 3ab. When we square it, we are simply multiplying it by ab. Okay, you can skip this particular step if you are familiar with the different rules. Okay, so since you have a fraction multiplied by a fraction, numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. So let's put them all together. It's a multiplication sign, multiplication sign. So now we have a number 3, copy it down. A times A, so that gives me A squared. Then we have B times B, that is B squared. So we see that when I expand AB, the entire thing square, we get something like this, A squared times B squared. The power 2 is distributed to both the A and the B. Okay, then we have C squared. Denominator, A cubed, B and C. Now is the time for us to cancel away common factors. So how many A's are common in both numerator and denominator? There are 2 of them. So cancel away 2 of them. One of them is left in the denominator. Now let us cancel the only common factor B. Just one of it. And finally, only one C is common. So we're left with 3BC over A. So what this means is that every one mistake, you will have 1 mark deducted. Okay, next one, question 6A part 1. So remember the 3 different relationships we had. X plus y, when you square it, you get x squared plus 2xy plus y squared. When you have x minus y, when you square it, you get x squared minus 2xy plus y squared. These are the ones you have to memorize. And the final one, x plus y, x minus y. This will be our x squared minus y squared. If you have memorized all of them already and you're very familiar with the way they are written, you should have noticed this portion is our x squared minus y squared. Okay, so we copy everything now. Okay, 3x, the whole thing squared, minus 9, and our x minus y, x plus y is our x squared minus y squared. From here on, we do our expansion. We get in the first term, 3x squared, we get 9x squared when you expand it, then minus 9x squared plus 9y squared. And the first 2 terms conveniently add up to be 0, leaving us with just 9y squared. So where are the common mistakes? Okay, found over here. 9x minus y, x plus y. Some students tried to multiply everything. So you get 9x minus y times 9x plus 9y. Okay, so that's one of it. The other is our expansion. Your negative 9 was not distributed to the y squared term. So we should have ended up with a 9y squared, positive 9y squared. Okay, now the next part, 2, hence. When they say hence, you must use the final answer from A part 1. So look at the comment from the marker. It says students did not use the final answer of A part 1. Then students did not show any working. So all this cannot. You must show the relationship. You must show the marker that you know the relationship between 6A part 1 and 6A part 2. So let us check out what the similarities are. So the first portion, then you have a minus 9 and x minus y, x plus y. Now, based on this, do you see some similarities? Okay, you're going to call some people to share their answers. Aloysius, what similarities can you see? Aloysius, please unmute yourself.
3x squared and 21x.
Okay, so what are you trying to tell me? 3x squared is 21x squared? Sorry, 21x? Sorry, 21 squared?
21 square can divide by wait, no. I think can divide by 3.
No. Tell me what is the relationship between 21 square and something else?
21 square and 3x square. So it's like both is square. Like
Ah, okay. Are you saying this?
Both is
21
both
square
is a
and
square.
okay. So what can you
Yeah.
tell me about the value of x in this case?
7.
Yeah. So
X
looks
is
like this is
7.
telling us that x equals to 7, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you see x anywhere else in the 6a part 1? Do you see x anywhere else?
At the minus 9
X
x
minus y, isn't
minus
it?
y, x plus y.
Yeah. So
At the
and then
back.
you compare that
Yeah.
with the bottom. What is your conclusion now?
7 minus 5. X
Okay, what is your
equals
conclusion about x?
to 7. And
Yeah,
then
x is 7, isn't
y,
it? Wait, don't say wait, I'm going to call somebody else. Okay,
yeah.
so Aloysius has decided that x
Okay.
is equal to 7. Okay, so Aloysius, can you call somebody else?
Harry.
Harry. Okay, Harry, please unmute yourself. Tell me what you notice about y. This is the easier one.
Y equals to 5.
Y equals to 5. Okay. So you notice the similarity is that hey, x equals to 7, y equals to 5. As long as you are able to show the relationship, then we know that the solution is simply 9y squared, which is 9 times 5 squared. And that's it. So hence question always requires you to go back to the previous part and make use of the answer. Any other way that you do it, even though the answer is correct, you will not be awarded any marks. Okay, next. Part B, expand and simplify. So we have a case of number, or rather a term, plus another term, and square it. So just use the formula. Let me write down the formula again. A plus B, when you square it, a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Doesn't matter what the a is, doesn't matter what the b is. In this case, this is our a. In this case, this is our b. Now b is a little funny, like it is 4 over x instead of having no fraction. There is a fraction for b, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so let's take a look at the expansion. It says a squared. Okay, so x squared, and it says plus 2 times a. Our a value is x times b. Our b value is 4 over x. You should be happy when you see this, because in your mind, you should know that, hey, this x, and this over x, they will cancel each other out. Okay. Now, finally, we need to add our b squared. So 4 over x, you square it. Then you get x squared plus, you see they cancel, plus 8. Then you plus, the square goes to the 4, the square goes to the x, 16 over x squared. So this is it. Okay, so common mistake. Common mistake is thinking that this square just goes to the x, and then you just multiply to the, and then you just square the 4 over x. So many students end up with this. Compare the difference. What is missing? Okay, Akila, what do you think? What is missing in these two examples? X squared plus 16 over x squared versus x squared plus 8 plus 16 over x squared. What's the difference?
There's not 8.
Yeah, there's no 8. There's no 8 in the common mistake that students make. Where did this 8 come from? It came from the plus 2ab. Okay, so in summary, a plus b squared is not equal to a squared plus b squared. Similarly, a minus b, when you square it, is not equal to a squared minus b squared. Now 7a, it is well done, so I'm not going to go through. 7b factorizing. Okay, now you see 4 terms, it means that you need to pair them up. Generally, the setter will set it such that the first 2 terms can be paired up, meaning that there are common factors. Okay, so I see 4 terms, I definitely know must pair them up already. But in this particular question, you see that before you even pair them up, it has a common factor of 5 already for every single term. So our first step should be to factorize out 5. You get AB plus 4KB, then you divide 10 by 5, you get 2AH, then minus 8KH. Once you factorize out this 5, you can now focus on pairing your 4 terms inside the bracket. Okay, where we have 5, draw a square bracket. Our first 2 terms has a B and B. So factorize out B. We're left with A plus 4K. Now the next 2 terms, what is the common factor? Okay. See, Nadira, can you tell me what the next common factor is for the remaining 2 terms?
Negative 2 and H.
Negative 2H. Okay, let's take a look. If I factorize out negative 2H, then my first term I'll be left with A, second term I'll be left with plus 4K. Okay, so this happens because Nadira chose to factorize out negative 2H. You could have factorized out positive 2H. Now, if you did that, inside your bracket, you end up with negative A minus 4K. Then you need to switch the sign. So Nadira managed to realize that first. So she factorized out negative 2H straight away. Therefore, ending up with 2 common factors again. They are A plus 4K, A plus 4K. Okay, so in summary, now we have the 5 already. We have the A plus 4K. And what is left will be B minus 2H. B minus 2H here. Okay, any questions at this point? If not, move on to question 8. Okay, so y is inversely proportional to the square of x. I'll just do it at the side. Y is inversely proportional to the square of x. So straight away, right now, y equals to kx squared. It is known that y is 20 for a particular value of x. We know that this is 20 for a particular value of x, a specific value of x. So based on this, we know that we can make k the subject already. So this is our standard step. So k will be 20 over x whole squared. And we're going to put it back to the original formula. So we update it, and now we get 20 over x naught square, x squared. So this is now our new formula. Let's see what else they say. Find the value of y when x has doubled. So our new x is going to double from the old value of x. Meaning our new y value will be, copy down your formula, multiplied by 2 times of the old x, and we're going to square it. This gives us 20 over x whole square for x whole square, because we're going to square this and square this. With that, cancel away your common factor of x whole square, and we end up with the answer 80. Hey, wait, was that a mistake? Okay. Hang on, let me check. Oh, it's inversely proportional. Okay, change everything. So because it is inversely proportional, everything is wrong. I didn't really calculate. So y equals to k over x squared. We know that y is 20, k over x whole square. So k equals to 20x whole square. Update formula, y equals to 20x whole square, x square. New y, 20x whole square. We are going to double the old x. I'm going to square this. So we end up with 20x whole square over 4x whole square. And now we cancel. Final answer, 5. Okay, so next one. 9A. I think your class should be okay lah. Solving this. Whatever you do on the left side, you do on the right side. If you ever need to multiply or divide by a negative sign, make sure you flip the inequality. So next portion, hence write down the smallest prime value of x. So some students don't understand what prime numbers is. I hope it is not from this class, but the smallest prime number is 2, followed by 3, then 5, and 7, 11, so on and so forth. In this case, since we're looking for a number greater than 10.5, smallest prime will be 11. Okay, now question 10a. Area, 7 cm on the map, 7 square cm represents 63 square kilometers on the ground. So express the scale in the form 1 to n. So this refers to the length. Okay, map scale is always about the length, not the area. So I'll show you you can use this, but I'll show you the presentation that I've been using for your class all the time. So map to actual. So we have length and area. The question gave us area. So 7 square cm to 63 square kilometers. Now we want to reduce it to our simplest form first, as is the standard approach for all ratios. So we can divide by 7. It is not a coincidence that it is 7 and 63. Okay, so we have 1 square cm is to divided by 7, we get 9. 9 square kilometers. So now we're going to go to the ratio of length. From area to get to length, we are going to square root. We're going to square root everything. When you square root 1, you get 1. When you square root cm square, you get cm. When you square root 9, you get 3. When you square root the square kilometers, you get kilometer. So this is the ratio of the length, but it is in terms of cm to km. They wanted it in the form 1:n, meaning the units must be the same. So you change your 3 kilometers to become 300,000 centimeters. Okay, so one last step, 1 to 300,000. So yes, this will be posted online, this video. So once you manage to get part A correct, your part B shouldn't be a problem. Okay, number pattern, apparently well done. That's good. Well done also for the explanation. Explain why it is not a term of the sequence, as mentioned, always tested. So we are trying to find out the term number. So you remember Tn, we are trying to find this value of n. It turns out that it is 30 and 1/7, which is not an integer. So the value of -179 cannot be part of the sequence. Okay, next one, 12. Mr. Lim bought a sofa priced 6,500. So he didn't have 6,500, or he didn't want to spend 6,500 at one go. So he made a deposit of $500 and the rest by making 60 months of the installment. Okay, they are not going to, the person selling is not going to let you pay deposit 500 and then allow you to pay the rest without charging you interest. He will want to charge you some form of interest. In this case, it is 2.55% per annum. So find the monthly installment. So this is what is happening. After he paid $500, what does he owe? $6,000. So this is our, in a form, our loan. In a sense, a loan that he's taking because he owes that money. So it's kind of like a loan. And we can also call it the principal. So if you're going to take a loan of $6,000 and you have to pay 2.55% per annum, then the longer you take to repay, the more they're going to charge you, right? So total interest. Okay, so how long did he take the loan for? 60 months. 60 months equals to, well, divided by 12, that is 5 years. So the word annum means year. 1 year charge 2.55%, 5 years we're just going to multiply it by 5 with your 2.55% times the principal, the amount of loan that he has taken. And this is the interest. So this is the formula. Just to recap, I equals to PRT over 100. Where is the over 100? It is found inside your 2.55%. Okay, this is written as 2.55 over 100. Okay, same thing. So now this is the interest to be paid over 60 months. So how much does it pay per month? Well, we're going to take the amount that is owed. He owes $6,000. We're going to add that to the interest that he has to pay. And we're going to divide that by 60 months to get 112.75. So that's the monthly installment. Compare that with paying at one go $6,500. It is much more. It's much easier to just pay deposit 500, then every month you just fork out $112.75. Very manageable, but keeping in mind that you're actually paying more than you originally needed to pay. Okay, so next part B. Find the total amount that he paid for the sofa after 60 months of installment. Okay. Now after 60 months, when he finally fully paid for the sofa, how much actually did he spend? It can't be just $6,500 because $6,500 was the original amount without interest. So with the introduction of the interest, $765, you need to add these two. Okay, to get the final sum that he's paying. Next one, question 13. Question talked about pentagon. So pentagon, 5-sided. 5-sided figure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They didn't say that it is a regular pentagon, so we are expecting different angles. So they mentioned one angle is x minus 10, another two angles are 2x minus 20, and the remaining will be 3x plus 20. So there are two of them over here. Two angles, there are 3x plus 20. Two of them, there are 2x minus 20. You add everything up, it will give you this portion, n minus 2 times 180. Why? Because any pentagon, any 5-sided figure, you can break it up into 3 triangles. So it will be 3 times of 180 degrees. So that is the sum of all the angles. So that is just solving for your x value. Then they wanted the smallest exterior angle. Okay, a little tricky here. The smallest exterior angle is related to, or rather it corresponds to the largest interior angle. Okay, so let me just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Suppose this is my pentagon, and I'm going to draw all the exterior angles. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 exterior angles. If they want the smallest exterior angle, based on my diagram, this is the smallest exterior angle. It corresponds to the largest interior angle. Do you see that? The rest of the interior angles, they're all smaller. Okay, so with the 3 different values of interior angle, we need to determine which one is actually the largest, so that we can determine which is the smallest exterior angle. And of course, interior plus exterior, they will add up to be 180 degrees because adjacent angles on a straight line. Okay, 2 more questions. So we are given the area of small triangle, which is 6. If the area of this small triangle is 6, given that this is 90 degrees, we know that half times the base times the height is df, is equal to 6. Okay, so we just want the df. I want to get rid of the half. I do so by multiplying by 2 on both sides. So leaving me with 3df equals to 12. I want to get rid of the 3. So I divide by 3, and that gives me 4. So FD has a value of 4 units. That's the height. They further tell us that the trapezium, okay, BFDC, 18. BFDC, this is 18 square cm. So now we need to recall the formula for area of a trapezium. Area of trapezium given by half times the sum of the parallel sides. So where are the parallel sides? We have CD being 6 cm. So that's this. And the other parallel side will be our BF. Then you multiply by the perpendicular height, which we just found, which is 4, and it's 18. So when solve for BF, it is 3. Next one. Oh, they tell us that this is the cross section of a prism, then the height of the prism is 10 cm. So where is the height of the prism? This is the cross sectional area. The height is found here. Okay, so this distance is our 10 cm. In order to find the find the volume. In order to find the volume, I need to find this cross sectional area multiplied by 10. We are already given this to be 6. This is given to be 18. What's left is this triangle. In order to find that area, you need to recognize that these two triangles, they are similar. Okay, so why are they similar? They have the same angles. How are they the same? Okay, let's take a look. They share a common right angle over here. They share a same common angle at the top. And finally, these two angles, they are corresponding angles. So they are the same. So what I've just shown is that all 3 angles in the triangles are the same. So they are similar triangles. Now, since they are similar triangles, I'll draw them out separately. This is the small triangle with a base of 3, and we have a bigger triangle with a base of 6. So we know that they are double. Okay, you multiply by 2, you get a bigger height. You get a bigger base. Small base times 2 get big base. So the small base, the small height, which we know that it is, we found that it is 4. If you times 2, you will get the bigger height, which is 8. So now that we know this bigger height being 8 cm, we can find the cross-sectional area. Okay, now the next question, since we don't have time already, question 15. And for section B, I'll be going through during the next lesson. If you have any questions, please feel free to privately message me. Okay, otherwise that's the end of the lesson. You are free, you may now log off and leave the meeting. Thanks.